Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today's program. My name is Jose, and I'm a librarian here at LA County Library. Now, before we get started today, I do want to take a moment of your time to read the LA County Land Acknowledgement. The County of Los Angeles recognizes that we occupy land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Tangba, Tataviam, Serrano, Quiche, and Chumash peoples. We honor and pay respects to their elders and descendants, past, present, and emerging, as they continue their stewardships of these lands and waters. We acknowledge that settler colonization resulted in land seizure, disease, subjugation, slavery, relocation, broken promises, genocide, and multi generational trauma. This acknowledgement demonstrates our responsibility and commitment to truth, healing, and reconciliation, and to elevating the stories, cultures, and community of the original inhabitants of Los Angeles County. We are grateful to have the opportunity to live and work on these ancestral lands. We are dedicated to growing and sustaining relationships with Native people and local tribal governments, including, in no particular order, the Fernandino Tatavian Bands of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Tangba Indians of California Tribal Council, the Gabrielino Tangba Sanguine Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians Quiche Nation, the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, and the San Fernando Band of Mission Indians. Thank you. And with that, it is my great pleasure to hand it over today to today's host, the Black Resource Center librarian, Ms. Cheryl Kaw.
Juneteenth cuisine on display. Today, we're going to answer your questions about Juneteenth foods, why they're red, but also educate you on what Juneteenth is. Now, before we get too far into the program, I would like to thank the Friends of the Library of the AC Bilbrew and Woodcrest Libraries, because without them, this program would not be possible. Thank you for your partnership with the Black Resource Center and your partnership for future programs. I do encourage you, if you have a Friends of the Library nearby you, please join them. They are extremely helpful. And before we go any further, we would like to pay tribute to a very special woman, because without her, Juneteenth programming would not have taken place in many libraries across the state of California. Benny Tate Wilkin. We dedicate this Juneteenth program to Benny Tate Wilkin, who passed July 25th, 2024. She was the first minority service coordinator for LA County Library. She was an educator, storyteller, author, and mentor to many African American and other library school students of color. Benny was one of the founders of the California Librarians Black Caucus and was inducted into the California Library Hall of Fame in 2019. Most of all, because of Benny, the AC Bilbrew Library and Black Resource Center communities had the distinct pleasure of celebrating Juneteenth for at least 20 years before Juneteenth became popular and was designated a national holiday. Benny presented the Juneteenth programs throughout the years with great passion and love. Her storytelling touched our spirits and allowed us to soar with stories from all around the African diaspora. Today, we express our deep gratitude to the memory of Benny Tate Wilkin, who will always be remembered as the pioneer of Juneteenth programs hosted at AC Bilbrew Library on behalf of LA County Library, and as a benefit to many Los Angeles communities. We thank Benny for teaching us how to commemorate Juneteenth with love, inspiration, knowledge, and pride. May her spirit live on in our hearts and minds as we continue our Juneteenth tradition. Thank you. And this was written from Miss Rose Mitchell, who is a retired Black Resource Center librarian. Okay, so today's program, I'm not the one who's going to be doing the majority of the cooking. I'm going to be learning. But we have Chef Cheryl Tate. She is a real chef, like a real cook, y'all. So she knows what she's talking about. And today she's going to lead us through the recipes that have been emailed to you, but that you can also download. They're available in the chat right now, so you can download them. And if you're having any issues, please let us know and we'll get them to you. Okay, so today's menu, we have a doozy for you. So if you don't know what you were about to serve on Thursday, we already got it taken care of for you. All right. So to start out will be hibiscus iced tea, followed by two different salads. You have a black eyed pea salad, or you have a watermelon and strawberry herb salad. Then you get to one of the stars of the show, barbecue chicken, macaroni and cheese, greens, and then, we got the bar. Y'all, you are in for a treat. So she does these lemon bars. And today we did a little razzle dazzle and added strawberry to them. Buckle up, boo. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. I promise. I promise. Okay. So where should we start first?
Okay. Well, we are going to start with, let's start with our lemon bars. We have the crust that is in the oven right now. Lemon bars, I've just perfected. I love it. I've always loved lemons. You know, when they say, when when life gives you lemons, make lemonades. I make lemon bars. Okay.
And they're good.
I take it up a notch. Okay. And what I have found is that in making them, you always just want to go next level. You always want to go next level. If you have the recipe in front of you and you see it calls for 2 sticks of butter, I'm just, I like to take it up a notch. So, and it's always fun when you can use regular butter. That's fine. But I'm sorry. I'm hoping I'm not going to get trademark thing here. I like regular butter, which is good from, Walmart, Smart and Final, any store. But Kerry Irish butter is very good. You will find it on your shelf. It's very expensive. You'll probably pass by it because of the cost, but it's really good in the shortbread crust of the lemon bar. So whenever, I want to do next level lemon bars, because this will do. I mean, 2 sticks of this will be fine. But if you want to go next level and you really want your people to like you, like they like me, you use, you always looking for like the next thing that you can use to really kick it up a notch. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Let me just give you a little bit of information about Chef Cheryl Tate. I am a native of Willowbrook, which is a wonderful part of Los Angeles County. And I am a 4th generation food service hospitality professional. So my father, uncles, grandfather, and great-grandfather were all worked on the train for the Pullman Company. And it's wonderful history. I have a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge, but I have a love of people because people are in my DNA. We've just been serving people for 100 years in hospitality and food service, the many stories I could tell you. But I just really enjoy helping people, and I really enjoy people eating well. So this is what we're here to do. And what better way to celebrate Juneteenth than to cook, and then to cook well. Okay, so we're going to do this lemon bar. Like I said, the crust is in the oven. And it's a really simple recipe. If you see the recipe, it's very straightforward. It's you make the shortbread crust, and really a lemon bar is just a custard on top of a shortbread. If I could kind of be a little specific,
what exactly is
a custard? Is an egg that's mixed with something. Okay, eggs by themselves are just eggs. But if you mix an egg with milk, if you mix an egg with something, it becomes a custard.
So yes. Crazy question.
Yes.
Omelets. Is that a custard?
Yes.
So technically
it is. Technically it
but my
is.
Spinach omelet doesn't go well in lemon bars.
No. I mean, that's just like a tomato and in a fruit salad. Even though it's a it's a fruit.
Touche.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
So we have, if you're following the recipe, it's a real straightforward recipe. You take your 4 eggs, your sugar, because when you're adding sugar, anything that you're adding to an egg changes. It's no longer, an egg.
So you're having a chemical reaction.
It's more so just a cooking thing, Yeah.
kiddos, when you go back in the fall, tell your teacher that you did a chemistry experiment that you could eat. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you add an egg to something, it changes.
When you are interested, okay, like creme brulee. Creme brulee is a custard, okay? It's an egg and some milk and some sugar. Okay. So you have changed it. You know, just an egg by itself is a wonderful thing. Great fried, hard boiled, all that stuff. But when you start to introduce something else into it, then it becomes like a custard. You know,
So
depending on
in
what
here, what did
Mhm.
we have? We had
Okay, we had about a quarter cup of flour, 1.5 cups of sugar. We're going to add 4 ounces. This is 6 ounces here, but I'm going to save a little bit of this. 4 ounces of lemon juice, fresh squeezed lemon juice. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, fresh squeezed lemon juice, just a tap.
so if they don't have fresh squeeze,
You can
could
use-
they substitute out?
Yes, you could.
Okay.
Yes,
What
you
could
could.
they substitute? So
Um,
where you get like a little green jar of lemon juice? Okay. Okay.
That's a good one. And the little one in the produce section, the little, the little lemon, the little lemon in the squeeze bottle. That's a good
Okay.
one. Yeah, that's a good one. That's always a good one. But
Okay.
really, find somebody's tree. Find somebody's tree.
But if they live somewhere, like I grew up in the Midwest.
Okay, and
So everybody don't have a lemon tree.
Nobody got no lemon
But
tree.
we know here on the West Coast we do. But if you don't have a lemon tree, you can go to the produce section
Yes, you
and
can.
get lemon juice.
Yes, you can.
Okay. And it'll still taste,
Yes, you can.
it'll be in the neighborhood.
Yes, you can. Okay. Now, one thing that I do, and this is like I said, I do everything next level. Okay.
Okay.
So I like to use, where is it? Lemon oil
Okay.
and
Lemon oil.
and
So this is pure lemon extract, which is lemon oil. Okay. I'm learning today. Okay. Okay.
And okay, if I hold and see if I got it. And lemon peel.
Okay.
So if we don't have any lemon peel, we have plenty of lemons. Okay.
Okay. So
plenty
when
of
it
lemon.
says like lemon zest, is that what
Yes.
you're about to do right
Yes.
now?
That's
Okay.
right. Here it is. Here it is.
Okay.
Now, I like we could have taken a raw lemon and planed it, but I like minced lemon peel. Okay, these are my little secret weapons that I use, and I never measure. And like I said, I'm 4th generation. It just tells me how much to use.
So a pinch of this
So
and a shake of that.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just a pinch because this is,
So is that a big pinch, little pinch?
it's a medium-sized pinch.
Like
Okay,
a
so
granny
I
pinch,
did-
auntie pinch, like
So I use the top of
Okay.
the bottle just to shake out a little bit
okay.
because we already have the lemons in here, so we're just complimenting them.
Okay.
We're just
So
complimenting
if
them.
someone doesn't have minced lemon peel, if they're
You
trying
can
to
still
zest
go
it,
to
how much would they use then?
I would say about a half a lemon. Just
Okay.
plain about a half a lemon.
Okay. Okay.
Now I'm going to use, just because for measurement purposes, I'm going to use about a half a teaspoon of lemon oil. Okay.
So half a teaspoon of lemon extract.
Yes.
Okay.
Lemon extract.
Okay.
And it's pretty good stuff. Wonderful stuff. I use it all the time.
Doesn't matter what brand, because everyone may not be able to get the same brand. So
Okay.
are all brands created
No, they
alike?
are not. I like this brand right here. You can go online. That's the beautiful thing about the internet. You can go online and you can get really anything you want, but at the push of a button. And can I tell them what brand it is? Okay, this is Penzi Spices. And I swear by these spices. As being a personal chef and working closely with clients, and I'm in their home and I'm cooking, I don't need to, if I'm making tacos, go for the oregano and this. No, just give me a Mexican spice.
Okay.
Just give me a Mexican spice blend. Okay.
Okay.
And Penzi's tends to have those, and they're straightforward, they're wonderful, they're great. Okay.
So other brands, because I've seen like where you might have a soul food spice.
Right.
Or like you just said, like a
Right.
Mexican spice.
Yes.
So it's okay for us to go ahead and use that? Because
Yes.
I know
Yes,
my
it is.
aunts might be watching. Don't email me after this.
Yes,
So
it
it's
is.
okay for me to use
Yes,
that?
it is.
Well, Chef
Yes,
told
it
me I
is.
could use it, so I'm
Yes,
going
it
to go
is.
ahead and use
And
it. Okay.
and you're gonna like her food if she does it. You're gonna like our food because it's almost like fail safe. You know,
Surprise, surprise. Now you know what happened at Thanksgiving.
it's fail safe.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a good cook. Yes, I season well, but I just know what to use.
Yeah. And her name's Cheryl, my name's Cheryl. So
You
Cheryl
can't go
said
wrong.
it.
We
So
just
I'm
can't
gonna
go
just
wrong.
do it too.
Okay.
Okay. So we're good. We're mixing. We're mixing.
Yeah, so
okay.
we're just
So
gonna-
if you're following along right now, you've made sure
Right.
that you have your flour.
Right.
Is your butter in here already?
Okay, our butter went into the crust.
Went into the crust.
Butter
okay.
went into the crust. Uh-huh. So how many more minutes we got for this? Ooh. Do we have any more time for our crust? Let's go look at our crust.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna check the crust
So,
out.
yes. And our hibiscus tea is
So you see, we got a couple of things already going because 2 hours
It's
is
not enough
generous,
time.
but it's not enough
it's
time
not
for
enough time.
good food. Like
that's true. Very true.
you have a difference between microwave and putting a little bit of love into it.
Yes,
and when
true.
you put love into it, that takes time.
Yes.
So we started before,
Yes,
okay?
and
And it smells delicious in here.
Thank
I
you.
wish
Yes,
I could just waft it through the computer to you.
Okay, so we're gonna take this. Okay. Ooh. So here's our shortbread crust. Excuse me.
Can we kind of turn it?
Of course. This is our shortbread crust. And shortbread is really basic and simple. It is flour, butter, and a touch of salt. It's just, and again, like I said, it's the type of butter that you put in here. Okay, I used very good butter. So even though I mix it, I use very good butter and average butter.
So
It's gonna kick it up a
question.
notch. Yes.
Shortbread crust, is that the
Yes.
same as a shortbread cookie?
Yes, it is. It is the very same thing.
So you mean I could be saving my money every
Yes.
winter instead of supporting those little girls?
Yeah, no, you could.
I'll still support you.
You
I'll
could.
still
Yeah,
support
yeah,
you.
you
I
could.
won't name anything. Okay. Okay. So we have
Yeah.
our crust done.
Mhm.
We're gonna allow it to cool. How
No,
long should
we
we're
don't
not
cool it. We don't cool it. We pour
nothing's
every.
cooling, y'all. We
No,
coming in hot.
no,
we coming in hot.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
this is how it's done. And I used raw sugar. I like raw sugar because turbinado sugar is a darker hue. Okay, and it has most of the minerals.
So basically you use melanated sugar. Sorry, I'm the Black Resource Center librarian. Melanin is in everything we do.
Tell it.
So we use melanated sugar today. Okay. Yes.
We
yes.
used the sugar we did. We used raw sugar. And raw sugar, and I have to say, anything that's dark in nature that is gross is good for you. So you have blackberries. I mean, you have, there's purple, potatoes. And I use black rice. I mean, that's a story for another time. But black rice is some of the most.
I smell another library program coming.
It is one of the most nutritious things you could ever eat.
Really?
One of the most nutritious things you can ever.
Note that I can email to my doctor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So this is a strawberry lemon bar. So, in the recipe we said we were going to puree them, but when you puree them, you're kind of messing with the liquid content.
Okay.
So you have to play it up with a little bit more flour.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just gonna lay the strawberries in here. And you'll still have a strawberry lemon bar, but you'll be able to cut the bars in with the lemons in it. And this is a real quick dessert because it's 20 minutes to bake the bars, the shortbread crust, and it's 20 minutes for the custard.
Okay.
So you're really done.
So basically what she told you is if you have a cookout that you have been invited to, you could make this
some lemon bars
tomorrow.
Yeah,
and then on Thursday, you show up with something delicious and nutritious because it's made with melanated sugar, and you are good to go. All right.
Yes. Now, again, this is just real simple, and it doesn't take a lot. I like eating. I'm sorry, I'm going to say I like cooking, but I like eating. So anytime
we all love snacks.
Okay, yes.
It's snacks are your favorite.
So this is going back in for 20 minutes.
Okay. So 20 minutes to make the crust, and while the crust is baking, you make the custard, and then you put it back in the oven for 20 minutes. Okay.
Yes. There we go. Now, could you be so kind as to set us time with the 20 minutes? You got take the glass. Take a, there we go.
Okay, we're setting a timer for 20
20
minutes.
minutes.
We have behind the scenes help,
Yes,
y'all.
we do.
So
Amen
we are
for
good
behind the
to
scenes
go.
help.
Yeah,
Okay. So we're going to cut a watermelon.
because somebody in this kitchen doesn't know how to
And
cut
that's
a
okay.
watermelon. And
That's
it's
okay.
okay.
Okay, so let me just say something to you.
I just support the produce section at
Yeah.
my local
Um,
grocery store.
you know, I'm a classically trained chef. I went to Cordon Bleu, and they told you when you were in class that everything is a lesson. Everybody that you know that you come in contact with is teaching you something. So pay attention to that. So I worked at Mattel for my for what do you call that? Your
Like your practicum?
right.
Okay.
I worked at Mattel.
Like
And
Mattel, like Barbie dolls?
Mattel Toys. I worked
Okay.
for the largest toy manufacturer, the second largest toy manufacturer. And
So
they
you
had a
mean to tell
kitchen.
me Barbie eats?
Yeah, Barbie eats.
Oh, I
Barbie's
learned
people eat.
something new today.
Barbie's people eat.
Okay.
They eat very well too.
Okay.
They eat very well. So I learned from watching the people in the kitchen because in culinary school they didn't teach us how to cut a watermelon. You had to just
You
pay
paid all
attention.
that money and
Yes, because there's so many things to learn. There's so many things in food for you to learn that, you know, cutting a watermelon, they figured was secondary. So,
so
you know,
question.
yes.
Cutting a watermelon, is that the same? Because I know like cutting a pineapple is
Yes.
gonna be, is it
It's different.
different? And then like other fruits that have some type of skin on them, do you cut them the same way? Or everything kind of has a different?
Everything kind of
Okay.
has. Everything
Okay.
kind of has. Okay, so how we're going to stabilize this melon is we're going to cut the edges. Okay.
Now I have another question before we go any
Yes.
further. How do you choose your melon? Because
Okay.
I've heard all sorts, like knocking on them, looking at the outside.
That's true.
Like,
That's true. Okay.
because am I supposed to be knocking on
Yeah,
everything
you're
in the
supposed to be
grocery
doing.
store?
Hey, you're supposed to be doing a lot of it.
Y'all heard. So if y'all got to come pick me up because I've been knocking on different stuff, this is what happened. Okay.
Okay. Now, interesting enough, now, I grew watermelons in my backyard, and my son could pick the best watermelons. Okay, so he would hit it. He's looking for a hollow sound, but he would kind of kind of feel the pressure of the watermelon a
So
little
is it
bit.
supposed to have a little give?
Just a little give.
Okay.
And you're looking for the bee stings. You're looking for the sweet spot where the watermelon rested while it was growing.
So it's like a baby soft spot.
Yeah, kind of like a girl, you know what to say. Like a baby soft spot. So you're kind of looking for that. This one has bee stings on it, which are really nice. You know?
Okay.
Yes.
So the ones, because I may be a little superficial.
It's okay.
So when you're at the store and it has like these different markings, that means pick it. A lot of times people overlook that.
That's very true. Especially if it has a yellow spot. A yellow spot is good too. Because it means that's where the watermelon was resting.
Okay.
And where the sugar, because this is a lot of sugar.
All.
Yeah, where the sugar kind of falls to.
Okay.
And the bee stings, this is something that I learned, in gardening. If you see that the insects and stuff are eating it, it must be good. So just, pick around it and pick that and eat it. It's okay.
Yeah, I was about to say,
it's okay.
The nature part of it.
Yeah.
That's a little extra protein.
Yeah,
None
no,
of us
we don't
signed
want
up for.
that.
I mean, if you find it, that's between you and your physician. But so you're saying that's the sweet ones.
Yes, those are the sweet ones.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the sweet.
So we cut the ends off.
Cut the ends off.
Okay.
We're almost like, and this is sort of like the pineapple, but you're going to kind of take the shape of the melon and cut the rind off this way. So you're going to come back. You're going to come back and trim it, but you just really want to get the rind off. So if you notice, and I'm not really taking too much of the red meat, not a whole lot, okay? And each melon is different, because they're all shaped different. It's a vegetable. So I'm going to try not to, see if you look, I'm really not taking a lot. And then you can flip it over because it's flat on this end, and you can turn it over on this end and see how you did on this side. Okay. And this way, you'll get the meat. You'll get the meat without having, having to fight through all the rind. So this is really minimal what I'm taking off.
And can rind be used in different?
Yes, it can.
Okay.
Yes,
Are
it
there
can.
health benefits to it?
Yes, there is. Okay, really, a watermelon is a summer squash. Okay. A cucumber is a summer squash. It's just a squash, really, but it's a cousin. They're all cousins. Okay. So
you mean
we
to
can,
tell me vegetables have a family reunion?
yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
So make sure you buying cousins, y'all.
Right, that's
make
right.
sure you buy
That's
cousins.
right, because kale and broccoli are from the same family.
Okay.
And so are collard greens, really. They
Okay.
really are. They're from that Brassica family.
Yeah, but one
you
of
know.
them, your jaw really gotta work.
Yeah, what's that with the kale?
The kale. Yeah.
Kale, kale, you can eat it raw if you massage it. If you massage
So wait,
it.
I gotta work my food before I
Yeah,
let it work me?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so if you could take these over to the sink, please. Yeah. Okay, but again, you can see the very minimal that we cut of the red meat. Thank
Okay.
you.
And we're sink, not trash?
Yeah, trash. Yeah, trash.
Okay.
And you can go a little bit at a time. But we're gonna cut this in chunks because we have got all the rind out the way. And
Okay, so here's another debate that we should settle today.
right.
Sugar or salt? Not on grits. Not on grits. We talking about watermelon.
I don't put sugar
or
on
salt.
The watermelon should be sweet. Look at the face I made. No. Sugar? I mean, that's like sugar on grit. I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. We put that to rest.
Yeah, but I've just never, watermelons are sweet by themselves. You really don't need it.
Okay.
You don't need anything. If anything, what we're going to do here, we're going to play on the strawberries that are sweet.
Okay.
In the watermelon, because this is red, so we have a red fruit on top of a red fruit, and this is more, of course, hydrating. And the strawberries are going to be more flavorful. And at that point, we can put any type of herb we want on it. So we're going to go mid-size. See these?
Okay.
Can you cut them to size?
We're going to try.
If you can, I can do it. If you can, I can do it real quick.
You might want.
Okay. All right. That's not a problem. That's not a problem.
I'm just saying, we don't have 911 speed dial.
And I misplaced my cut glove. And mind you,
you have a cut glove?
Yes. Okay. So this is, working in kitchens, working in institutional kitchens. I've worked at Google. I've worked at Mattel. I've worked at USC, UCLA. Part of your uniform was you had to have a cut glove. You had to have a cut. You couldn't come to work because if you cut yourself, it was on you. What you doing cutting yourself when you're professional?
Okay.
And we're cooking for 10,000 students. What's wrong with? No, you have to have a cut glove. So in that, it just takes away the.
So it's kind of like the pads for a football player.
Yes.
It helps with the liability.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So
no, librarians know what to say. Okay. Librarians know what to say. Okay. So if you could go and get those strawberries from over there and rinse them off, we are going to do a wonderful strawberry watermelon salad. Very cool this time of year. Man, I mean, we're having some interesting weather for June, aren't we? It's usually June gloom.
I will say it has been a little bit more sunny. I've been out here 9 years, and I think this is the most sun that I've gotten in June.
Right.
Yeah. And for those of you who are watching in other parts of the country, there are some shadows that come out during the month of June in California.
June gloom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we still have the heat. Don't let the clouds fool you.
And it wasn't hot last year like this. Was it hot last year like this? No.
It wasn't this hot.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. Okay.
So the question comes up
Yes.
about, okay, why do we eat red foods during Juneteenth? Now, there's a couple of reasons. One, you answered where you said, like, watermelon is a summer fruit.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And most enslaved individuals were in agrarian cultures.
Yes, they were.
Right?
Yes, they were.
But really, really and truthfully, it all comes down to we're remembering our ancestors. Okay. And red stands for those who didn't get to make it to emancipation. If we're being
come on now
100%.
Yes.
And this is the way that we honor them. I don't know if you guys have seen my shirt, and it says red is the color of resilience. Okay. Slavery, yes, it was an ugly time in our history, but when you look at those individuals and the strength that they had and what they made out of that, these recipes that we're cooking, a lot of these recipes have been handed down generation after generation after generation. We're going to get to one of the things that we're cooking is chicken, barbecue chicken.
Yes.
And when you think about it, now we're kind of, you know, fancy smancy. We have grills that you just go cut on. You might, some grills, if you have the money for it, you have an app that will turn your grill on. People are fancy.
Yeah, they are.
But think back in the 1800s, the 1700s, the 1600s. If you wanted something grilled, someone had to work that pit.
That's right.
Now, those of you who may not be familiar with barbecue, a person who is over the pit is called the pit master. So you're very close to that fire, and you have to make sure that fire stays at a certain temperature in order to cook the food. They didn't have thermometers and all those things. It wasn't a glamorous position. It wasn't a glamorous job. And often, more than not, it was held by an individual who was enslaved.
Yes.
They had to make sure that that fire stayed hot through the night and through the day. There was no air conditioning. You didn't have giant fans. The fans were not for them. They were fanning someone else. Okay. But out of that, we get some of the foods that we love to enjoy today.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
And this isn't to guilt trip anybody, but we have to remember where our foods come from.
Yes.
And why they exist and how they got to us. Okay. So the dish that we're making right now, for the most part, this is pretty healthy. Would you say?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And for the most part, because these are summer vegetables, they're in season, which makes them more affordable.
Yes.
Okay. You don't necessarily have to go to the store to purchase them. You can go to the farmer's market. I know here in California, there's something called like a crop swap, where other individuals grow things and they swap these things. So wherever you may reside, I do encourage you to look for individuals who may have grown them, because if it's not grown on a big farm, I guarantee it's going to be a little bit sweeter.
Yes.
It's going to taste a little bit different. My grandparents grew vegetables throughout the summer, and those vegetables, we ate them throughout the winter and the fall. And they taste different from those that you buy at the store, because what's bought at the store is mass produced. Now, if you're not able to get fresh vegetables, there's nothing wrong with going to the store.
That's right.
Okay. We're just trying to give you alternatives to what you may already do. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with growing your own.
Yes.
Strawberries are not hard to grow at all.
Now, I will tell you this about strawberries. You may want them gone, but they're going to come back.
Yes. Yes. They're volunteers. They do grow back.
And they take over.
Yes, they do.
They do take over. I remember my grandparents tried one year to do strawberries. I think we had strawberries for like the next 2-3 years.
Okay, so I'm going to finish cutting this melon only because we cut all our strawberries, and I'm sure Cheryl, we'll have to teach you how to cut a watermelon, because even though it didn't take me that long.
But I probably need, like, do they have a cut suit, or it ends with the gloves?
Yeah, okay.
I'm just trying to make it back to the library in one piece, because I need my hand.
Get your cut glove. Get your cut glove. Get your cut. Because mind you, I mean, just making the greens like we are, I mean, greens are a job, because you pick them, you cut them, you clean them, you cut, you cook them. It's, it's more than a notion. Okay.
So cooking is an act of love.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
A big act of love. Yes, it is. Can you hand me that bowl over there, please? Yeah, it is an act of love. So, you really, it's therapy also. Cooking is therapy. I mean, I've had people say that I came home and I was so frustrated. I just went in the kitchen and started cooking, and boy, did I have a great dinner. That's therapy. That's really therapy. It doesn't get any more simpler than therapy, you know? Okay, so we have our strawberries and our watermelon. And so we're going to just put a little bit of lemon from our fresh squeezed lemon. Okay, a little bit on this. Okay, and we have our choice of what type of herb we would like to use, because we have, it's just really how you feel. You can go minty, you can go fresh, or you can go wonderful with basil. So which one do you think?
Okay,
Guys,
so
okay.
you explained this to me the other day, but can you
Right.
explain this to them?
Okay.
If you put mint on it, what does it do to the flavor?
It brings it up because minty is kind of refreshing. It brings more cool to it.
Okay.
Basil is just more, I say if it's more of a sophisticated herb, because I like basil. Just smell it.
Okay,
Smell it.
sophisticated as in boring?
Boring? No, never boring. Okay, so
I say let's go mint.
yeah, I think so too. I
Okay.
think so too. Because
And you
mint
could
is
actually
refreshing.
eat this
Yes,
too.
you can. This is an herb. You can, these are superfoods. These are superfoods. We should eat greens every single day. This is a part of greens, whether we're having collard greens, spinach, basil, mint, any type of green.
So what are the health effects for mint,
Uh,
strawberries, watermelon? Like you said,
okay,
watermelon's
strawberry
gonna
is hydrating.
Okay.
Okay, so anytime you have a red food, there's lycopene. And lycopene is an antioxidant. So
Okay.
it's cancer fighting.
Oh.
So anytime you're eating a red food, tomatoes, strawberries, watermelon, anything red.
But you actually have to eat the actual fruit or the vegetable that she's saying. Like some of us,
Yeah.
we try to cheat, and we're like, well, it's
Well, you can put in, you can a watermelon smoothie,
but
or
it has watermelon in it.
yeah.
Okay.
So again, this is real simple. It's simple and it's wonderful because it just tastes good, you know?
And we just made our salad.
We just made our salad.
So you guys saw how quick and easy that was.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 2 dishes you can take on Thursday to the cookout.
That's right, to the cookout.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
they won't be mad at you.
You're gonna start them with the strawberry, watermelon, and herb salad.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they can end with the strawberry lemon bars.
Sorry, lemon bars.
Okay.
Okay. That is our strawberry lemon.
How are we doing on time for baking?
Well, we got how much more time we
2
got
minutes?
for the
Okay.
Oh wow.
Time
Okay.
is flying.
I'm saying. Look
Okay.
at that.
It's like,
I love it. All right. Ooh.
okay, Mario and Brady. Okay.
Ooh, okay. Just a little longer.
Okay.
Just a touch longer.
Okay.
Just a touch longer. Okay.
I
So
really wish y'all could smell it in here. It smells delicious.
if you can rinse that off, please.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And we're gonna move on to the black-eyed pea salad. And that's wonderful too. Yay! So I hope you guys are getting to, it smells wonderful in here. I hope you guys are learning something. If you have any questions, please ask. Please put it in the chat because we're here to learn about food, eat good food. Everybody that comes to me says, oh, chef, I want this. Okay, well, you can really cook it yourself. I find cooking to be very, very rewarding because I know the end result is we're going to eat. We could talk about, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be nerdy, okay? But washing clothes, you get clean clothes.
Right.
Vacuum the floor, you get a clean floor.
Right.
Food, cook food. you have food afterwards. So that's the beautiful thing. Okay, so here we have black-eyed peas. We have 2 cans of black-eyed peas for our black-eyed pea salad. Okay, so
Do they have to use cans? Can they just use the frozen ones?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
you definitely can. You definitely can. Okay, so and we're going to use onion, and we did have some bell pepper. The bell pepper just did not make it. Yay, thank you. Oh, okay, great, great, great. Okay, so we're going to take red onion. Now again, chef likes color. Okay, so if I'm using an onion, I'll probably be using a red onion. Mm-hmm.
Thought I saw the bell pepper.
Okay. I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna finish this and we're gonna see the bell pepper.
Right, yeah, right when we finish, we're gonna see it, you know.
Okay, so the timer went off. Did we want to keep the?
Yeah, look at it because you know some ovens they don't really regulate like they should. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it needs a couple more minutes. I think it needs a couple.
Okay.
Minutes. Yeah.
So we'll give it about 3 more minutes.
Yeah, about 3 more minutes.
Okay.
And again, you know, ovens are different, so you really are looking at what it is that you're cooking and gauging. Now, again, we put strawberries on this on these lemon bars, so it's a little different. It's a little different than what we did with just a regular lemon bar. Okay, so we've introduced a fruit or a vegetable, so it may take a little longer. And I use just a tad more flour to absorb the liquid. Okay, so here we have our.
Now this salad that she's creating, when I tell you delicious, is its first name, not middle, first name.
Now, okay, so this is interesting that you said this about you're asking about the black-eyed peas because I used a can of regular black-eyed peas and I used a can of Glory black-eyed peas. Okay. Only because Glory is a very good brand. It usually comes with its seasoning intact, and you don't have to use a whole bunch. If it's done, boom. You know, really, you could open up the can and go for it. Okay. You really could, and you don't find that often as far as foods are concerned. We understand that Glory is a great brand. I believe it's from the South. I believe it's from Atlanta. But it's really a good brand as far as you wanting your food tasting Southern. It's bomb. Okay. It's bomb. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So we're just going to change gloves. And
now, would you recommend changing gloves in between?
Yeah, you kind of do. Okay. It helps.
Okay.
It helps.
Now, if you're at home, of course,
right.
You're not wearing gloves.
No, you're not wearing gloves. So for this salad, okay, we already have our Glory that's in here already. What you see me?
We need to move the bowl so we can see each other.
Sure. Let's move it out the way. Thank you. Okay. So you know what we didn't find? Wait a minute.
Ta-da! The peppers have been found. They're playing hide and go seek in the fridge, y'all.
Oh,
see, remember when I said that we started earlier? So we've been here a couple of hours before we actually welcomed you in.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And what we're going to do, if we could do this.
So do we want to check it? So it's been 3 minutes?
Yeah, let's check it.
A little bit longer? No.
Let's look at one more minute, take it out. Just one more minute.
Okay, so explain what are we looking for?
Okay,
like, so we want the custard to bake up a little bit more?
We just wanted to
solidify
a little bit more. Solidify a little bit more. And you know what? It will when we take it out. But I just wanted. I was looking for the color.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So we have some. Where's my tongs? My tongs are missing.
I have not. Oh, here we go.
There we go. Okay, so now you can kind of play with those wings a little bit. Yay! We found the bell peppers, and this is what happens when you're proficient. When you're proficient, and you go, what did I do with that thing? But we are going to cut this. And I love color. Color is one of the things that really lets you know that you're eating nature's food. Okay, because you have orange bell peppers, red bell peppers, green bell peppers, and interesting enough, bell peppers they start out and they start out green, and then they change colors. They go from red to orange. Okay, thank you. They go from red to orange. You can
So go ahead, take it out.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you mean there's an evolution to the bell pepper?
Evolution to the bell pepper. And mind you, it is a pepper, but it's not a hot pepper. Okay. It is still considered a pepper, and it still has the capsaicin in it. Woo woo. That looks good.
Okay, so you said it has the capsaicin in it.
It has
now,
the capsaicin in it, so it's still a pepper. So it has all the healing properties of a hot pepper.
okay.
Only without the heat.
So
Without
what
the
are
heat.
some of the healing properties that could be in a pepper?
Let's see. They're definitely lower. You have to put me on. You're talking vegetables, so your hydration, your vitamin A,
Okay.
your vitamin C, and just it's how can I say this? Good fiber.
Okay.
It's good fiber.
Okay.
Okay, because you want fiber in your diet, and your fiber you want from from fruits and vegetables, and those are the best ones because your body is we're not used to eating a lot of meat, which is okay, which is okay. There's everything in moderation. So even in the greens we have some chicken sausage. I'm not really a red meat person when it comes to black-eyed peas and greens and stuff. I like a chicken sausage or some smoked turkey of some kind. Not too much on the heavy side. I'm not gonna reach for a ham hock or anything of any red meat.
Okay.
I just like to keep it light.
Okay.
Okay, so to our black-eyed peas, we have onions, bell pepper, and we're gonna put a little celery in here
So we're gonna
because we
put
want the crunch.
the red pepper or no? Okay.
We can put a red pepper in it just for color. It does, color is important. Okay, color is very important, and we can put as much color in here as we want. Definitely the red. Excuse me. Definitely red for Juneteenth. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We'll go ahead and mix
Okay.
this
Thank
off.
you. And hand to me real quick. Yay! Now, I am one of those kind of people. I teach in the community. I've been teaching for several years and I enjoy working in the community. But when you get a camera on me, I go like, so I'm holding up really well. Okay. Really well.
Okay, y'all. I've had Chef Cheryl for other programs. Until you said that, I thought this was just business as usual. So you're doing a fantabulous job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But it's like,
no, you're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you.
And can y'all show her some love in the chat? Show her some love. Hit
I
the
really love what I do. It's when I say people are in my DNA, that it really is. I want to make sure that you're well. As a personal chef, I tell people I'm going to change your game because I'm going to come in, I'm going to cook you good food, I'm going to bring good energy, I'll reduce your stress level. The kids are happy, hubby's wonderful. I'm change your game. So, but those are things that seeing a family eating at the dinner table because they didn't have to run to get food to the table. Mama's not stressed out.
Right.
When I see that to me is success.
Yes.
Because we have to get back to the dinner table. We're a communal people and we need to be eating together. I made sure that my children ate at the dinner table. My husband, we all sat around and we ate at the dinner table so you could see your children. You could see what's going on, whether they had a good day or not. It's just very important. And good food brings you to the table. Good food brings you to the table. So
wondering because right now a lot of people
Mhm.
like they may be working
Right.
multiple jobs to try to just get food on the table. What we're making right now, are they able to cook ahead, and how long would it be
Yes.
able to be refrigerated, like so for them to serve it?
Well,
Because like salads and things of that nature,
right.
about how many days can a salad?
Your black-eyed pea salad can last about 3 to 4 days,
Okay.
because it's a pea salad. It's not like a leaf
Okay.
where you're wondering if the leaf is going to be good or not.
And
you
what
know.
about with the
Your what?
strawberry and watermelon? A couple of days?
Yeah, a couple of you want to eat that.
Okay.
You want to eat
Okay.
it because it's refreshing. And
Okay.
especially in this weather, don't leave food out. I mean, not leave it out, but meaning eat it.
Okay.
Eat it. Don't save it for an occasion.
Okay.
It's Juneteenth, but
Everybody come
definitely.
to the table.
Everybody come to the
Okay.
table. Everybody come to the table.
Well, because something that I always hear folks saying, they're like, oh, I can't afford to eat healthy, or it takes too much to eat healthy. And I'm sure you've heard the same thing as a
Yes, I
chef.
have. Yes.
But the things that you're saying right here, these seem like quick and easy fixes. Like both of these we've created in what, the last 30, 40 minutes?
It's not even an hour yet.
Okay.
It's not even an hour yet. It's not even an hour, and we've gone through. Well, we did put the chicken in the oven a little earlier, but that's just about 45 minutes.
Okay.
And you put that in the tea.
Okay.
Okay.
And what am I putting in the tea?
This is ginger that we're putting in the hibiscus tea.
So you guys saw, and it's not a lot.
It's not a lot.
I don't know if you guys can see it in my hand.
Yeah,
It's not a
here's
lot.
A little bit more. Here's a little bit more.
Needs a little bit more?
Just a little bit more.
Okay.
Because we're going to strain it off.
Okay. And does this need to be stirred?
With your greens, you probably want to put a little bit more water in there.
Okay.
And just yeah, there you go. Put a touch more water because we already have soup base in here.
Okay.
And you could just, they look good. They look good. Be careful. Be careful. You don't cook, do you?
I do, but not. I'm not like we have a camera. This is a little nerve-wracking.
Now see what I meant? I told you I don't like it too. Put some more water. There you go. There you go. That's good. Now, what I need you to do is I need you to taste it. And here's a fork. You have tasting forks. So I need you to taste it and see how it tastes and if it needs anything. It probably don't need nothing. It doesn't need it.
No.
It doesn't need anything.
I'll FedEx you a plate. Okay. I'll just FedEx you a plate. Woo.
Okay.
So turn it off?
Yes, you can turn off.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so here we have our black-eyed peas, our celery, bell pepper, and onion. Okay, so again, we can take it up with some mint because we have all the herbs here. We have mint, we have basil, and I brought cilantro because cilantro is a great, great, great herb, if I might say. It cleans the heavy metals out of the system. So, I believe in a taco every day. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because because your cilantro is just something, we live in a toxic environment. Okay. We're in Los Angeles. This is Motor City. Okay. There's so much pollution in the air, and this cleans it out of your body.
So we put the mint, the strawberries, and the watermelon.
Right.
So the cilantro, does it add like to the dish, like taste wise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because yeah, you said basil was sophisticated, but
Right.
I think I'm liking what cilantro is gonna do for us.
Me too.
Because we have our fiber in there.
Yes, we
got
do.
our vitamin C, vitamin A.
Mhm.
So we might as well go ahead and clean the kit and caboodle at the same time.
I got you. I got
Okay.
you. I got you. And that's a very good choice. That's a very good choice. And that is, I would have to say, it's not necessarily what the recipe calls for.
Okay.
Because I like to give.
A little razzle dazzle.
Exactly.
Okay.
A little razzle dazzle. Exactly.
And herbs, for the most part, are affordable, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
You know, it's
Fresh-
so much more
fresh
affordable.
herbs,
It's
fresh
so much more
herbs.
affordable when you can grow them yourself.
And so herbs like this, you can actually grow in your
Yes, you
windowsill.
can.
So
Yes, you
I
can.
know a lot of you are probably like, but Cheryl, I don't have a
Mhm.
backyard. That's
Mhm.
okay. You can grow
Mhm.
this in your windowsill.
Mhm.
All right. And isn't this a low light? It doesn't take a lot of light for it to
I
grow.
don't think so. I don't think
Right.
so. You know, cilantro is baby coriander, because cilantro will grow, and if you don't cut it, it'll flower and it turns into coriander. So
Here
if
we
you-
are back to the cousins in the family tree.
yeah, coriander. And if you notice, coriander is just, it smells like a strong cilantro. Some coriander seeds. So all it did was flower.
So we've had chemistry, biology, a little bit of history.
Right.
Y'all, by the time you finish tonight,
Uh-huh.
your whole high school transcript is done.
There you go. So all we did was put a little bit of lemon juice, because we had our black eyed peas glory already, which had seasoning in it. So I like to just keep things as they are, but I always like a little seasoning. And again, I'm a Penzies person. So they have different spice blends. Okay. And this is something that's called Tuscan Sunset. It's a Italian season. It's salt free. It's just, read it. Okay.
So you got sweet basil,
Mhm.
Turkish oregano,
Mhm.
red bell pepper, garlic, thyme, fennel, black pepper, and anise.
Anise. Uh-huh.
Anise seed.
Anise seeds. Now,
Okay.
now this is
So this is a family reunion in a jar.
Yes, it is. Okay. And so when I'm not using that, I'm using Mural of Flavor. Okay. And you can read that. That one I love that one.
Ingredients, spices. Can they be specific?
Well, just keep reading.
Okay, I'm sorry. Spices,
Okay.
shallots, onion, garlic, lemon peel, citric acid, chives, and orange peel.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I like the Mural of Flavor because it's across the board. Like I said, it's a Mural of Flavor. And I'm just going to put a little in here because remember, we had our glory already. We're not trying to take away from the glory. We just want to add a little bit to it.
Just lift it a little bit
Just
more.
lift it a little bit more.
Okay.
Again.
And I noticed both of these are salt-free.
Yes, they are.
So
yes, they are.
Your recommendation, because I think a lot of times people think, oh, I have to add salt in
No,
order to have
you do not.
flavor.
You do not.
Okay.
You do not. Here we go. Tasting for it. Taste.
See, you like to eat. I do too. And imagine that. We're both named Cheryl.
Yeah.
Okay. I know they say where them fans at, but I'm like, where them forks at? Yes.
Awesome, awesome.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so here is your black eyed pea salad.
Okay.
Okay.
So y'all can see.
Yay!
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All righty.
All right. So we have 2 salads down.
Your salad's down.
We got
okay.
our dessert cooling.
Dessert cooling. Okay.
I'm gonna move this way.
Yes, you can. Okay, so we're going to move on to our mac and cheese. And we already have our macaroni boiled already, and we put our cheddar cheese in here.
I am fighting for my
It's
life.
okay.
Oh,
It's okay. Yeah, it smells wonderful. Smells what? Strawberries are smelling wonderful. Jesus. Okay, can you take that off, please? Okay. So we are going to make our cream for our macaroni and cheese. Now, I'm gonna tell you a little story about macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese is okay, it's a sauce, okay? And we were taught in school different sauces, okay? You had to learn your mother sauces, okay? Macaroni and cheese is a bechamel sauce, which is a milk sauce with cheese.
do you know that it was created by a French slave?
Yeah, I can believe that.
So
I can
macaroni
believe
and
it.
cheese is melanated. Boom.
Okay.
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 So we've used
can go with
melanated
that.
sugar, and now we're gonna have melanated
no,
macaroni.
Get out of here. Okay.
All right.
So here we are. now it starts out with butter. So I'm going to be real fun and I'm going to use my curry butter because I saved it for the mac and cheese. Okay.
So how many sticks of butter do you use?
It's, you know what? I'm, the recipe called for a stick. I don't think I need a stick.
Oh, you
I don't think, I mean, the recipe calls for a stick of butter. We might use like maybe 3/4 of a stick.
Oh, so you're
Yeah.
nice. I use like a couple of sticks.
Say again.
I like butter.
You let me.
I like butter. I know my arteries are probably like the 405. I like butter.
I have to be honest with you. I love butter too. I really do. You know, it's just one of those things that you know, what was that? What was that movie with Julia Childs, with Julia and Julia? Okay, it was a movie talking, and the lady did everything in Julia Child's cookbook, and then she finally went to like a museum where Julia Childs were there. She laid a pound of butter. She laid a pound of butter on, you know, on her on a mantle for. I said, yeah, that's good. She laid a pound of butter on the mantle, you know, in honor to her. Okay, so I'm like, that's good. Okay, so we are going to start our mac and cheese front, and we're going to melt this cheese.
Melt the butter?
We got enough butter.
Okay.
So, a bechamel is butter, flour, milk. That's really all it is. It's butter, flour, and milk. That is the basic sauce that you're creating. And then you're going to introduce the cheese.
Okay.
Okay, so that's really all it is. And you know, when I make my my mac and cheese, I really, someone taught me, because everything that I've learned in culinary was taught to me by observation, by talking to people, by looking over somebody's shoulder, asking questions. And that's what they told us to do. You know, in school, you know, you're never going to stop learning about food. So
Well, that's
always
life.
be open.
Yeah, life.
Always be open.
Right.
I'm looking at 4 and 5 recipes a day just to look at them. Oh, wow, look at this, you know. So it's just a normal thing for me to do that. But I would encourage people, if you want to eat better, if you want to improve your health, you know, start familiarizing yourself with food. Start looking at recipes. Start, you know, eating different foods. Go out if you can afford it and eat food. You know what I'm saying? Because then you can get a taste of what's different. Okay. You know, that was something that, you know, culinary school really taught me to. It expanded my palate. It expanded my family's palate. My children now cook and they send me pictures of their food, which is wonderful, you know, because it means they're cooking. But, you know, they're paying attention. They're going out and they're eating food. They're going, oh, mom, let's cook this. I tried this. I tried that. So it's really expanding your palate. And, you know, anytime you can expand your palate and learn different cultures' foods, you know, you're really doing a lot for yourself, because, you know, there's a chicken in every culture.
Right.
There's a collard green in every culture. Cilantro, all of this. It's all in every culture. So if you can learn what they're doing, and I'm going to say this, it was all our food in the first place. Okay. All our food in the first place, because we didn't have the opportunity to go into the kitchen and experiment. They did. We just did what we did because we were made to.
Right.
But in our, you know, we just,
But I mean, and the
we're
crazy
creative,
thing is,
right? We're creative in whatever it is we do. It's going to come out good.
Right.
It's going to come out good, whatever it is
Well,
we do.
you look at some things that were brought over
Yes.
from the Middle Passage. I mean, I don't know. I personally would have thought, hey, let me sew this into my hair,
Right.
braid it into my hair, and then introduce it to wherever I am. But it's because you didn't know the journey that you were going to go on.
Right. You
so
didn't
you
know.
take things that are familiar with to you and introduce them somewhere else. So a lot of foods that are within our culture are actually from the motherland.
Yes, they are.
But others have said, oh, no,
Right.
No.
Even though black-eyed peas, you know, they did actually sew them into their hair. And collard greens are all over the world. We're not the only culture that enjoys collard greens. Some of it is just a staple. That's their national thing. You know?
Right.
And collard greens are one of the healthiest greens that you could eat. If we can get at least a cup of greens eating every day, that oxygenates you.
Mm.
So just think, if grandpa ate greens and cornbread
Right.
every day for his life, in 95, he can tell you what you did do, didn't do, all that stuff.
Right.
It's because his brain was oxygenated.
So
So-
y'all heard that.
Yes, you need to get your greens in every single day. Every single day. Okay. And that's why I like to use the cilantro and the basil and the collard greens. I
Okay.
love collard greens. Anytime I can get some collard greens in.
She
I'm
makes
good.
a dynamite collard green
collard green
Caesar
salad.
salad.
Mm-hmm,
It was amazing. But that's another program. That's another program.
That's another program.
Okay. So right now we are making, and we're calling it our sauce, but another word for it is called a roux.
a roux. That
Yes.
part. A roux.
All right. So you
Mhm.
may have heard like your grandmother or your aunt say, "Oh, you need to make the roux for
Mhm.
the mac and cheese."
Right.
So this is the roux.
This is the roux.
Okay. So we're starting with butter,
Mm-hmm.
and to the butter, we're going to add
We're going to add
flour.
Mm-hmm. Here it is right here. So, there was something I was going to say. Yes, it is a roux. Thank you so much for that correction. So, for our flour, so we used a stick of butter. I went on to put the stick in. Okay. So we're probably going to use maybe about a third of a cup of, because it needs to level out. It needs to be even, but it hardly ever comes out even, as far as the ratio. So we're going to use about a third of a cup. And what's our little stir? Where's our little thing at? Here we go. And we could almost look at that at our barbecue chicken.
To see?
Yeah, see how it's going.
Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, a little longer.
Okay.
Well, it's looking good.
So
Looking
just so y'all know, we already have the chicken in the oven because it needs time to cook. Okay.
Yeah,
You
it's
want to
time to
make
cook.
sure that you cook it
It has to be cooked to 165
Right.
degrees.
right.
Has to be. Chicken has to be cooked at 165 degrees.
You don't want
Has to be.
undercooked chicken.
Has to be.
Because
You
that's
have
the
to have a
introduction
food
of something
thermometer.
else.
Yes. 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 Thank you for saying that.
Yes.
You have to cook it. Okay.
So
Even if
if
you're not
somebody-
sure, microwave it,
So if someone doesn't have like a meat thermometer, because you just said that
Oh, boy.
chicken needs to be cooked to 160 degrees, how can they make sure that the chicken is cooked?
Get a meat thermometer.
Well, if they don't,
Okay, if you don't, then I would suggest that make sure that it runs clear.
okay, so you
Make
could
sure that
with the
Yes.
and that's in the thickest part.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you have a food thermometer and you stick it in the thigh if you're making you have thighs in your that you're cooking, stick the thermometer in the thigh, and that's when you'll get the best reading.
Okay.
The best reading.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
now she's adding.
I'm adding one of my favorite things. This is a secret. Cheddar cheese soup. Okay. If you didn't know about cheddar cheese soup and mac and cheese,
Well, if
you
you didn't
know
know now,
now.
you know.
you know now, okay? It's the difference between crack and cheese and mac and cheese. Okay. It's the difference. Okay. There is a difference. Okay.
So if you want people coming back and asking,
Who
made the mac
who
and
made
cheese,
the mac and cheese?
but they're
That's
not turning their nose
right.
up.
Uh-huh.
If you want your dish, like, so sign up for the next potluck
Right?
and you bring this mac and cheese. We guarantee that your pan will be empty. All right.
That part.
And that way it's easy cleanup. And
Yes, it
everybody will
is.
love you at the office.
at the
unless
end.
they're lactose intolerant. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Stop. Will you?
Dang. But it's that good. They're not gonna want to miss out.
That's very true. That's very true. And this is one of those things where if you're lactose intolerant, just stay
Sit this
home
one
that
out.
day. Just stay.
Yeah, sit this one out.
Just stay. No, don't eat it, but just stay home that day.
Oh, no, just have a salad.
Okay.
Salad.
Okay, so what we did was we did our flour and butter, and we put our cheddar
Cheese
cheese
sauce.
soup in here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna come back with the milk.
Okay.
I'm gonna come back with the milk. Now we're gonna use whole milk. I don't like using
Can they use like 1%, 2% skim, almond,
Can't.
oat, like the other milks? Can they use it?
You can.
Okay.
You can.
Does it change anything?
Well, I like whole milk because because of the fat in it.
Okay.
I mean, this is mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese
Come
isn't
on
meant
now,
to be
mac
healthy,
and
y'all.
cheese. It's
Okay.
not meant to be healthy. It's just not.
Take some by your doctor's office when you go for your physical.
Oh,
You'll be fine.
to be healthy.
So one thing I
consider
noticed.
this a luxury. I really do.
Okay.
I consider it a luxury because it's good. I'm sorry, you're about to say something.
Seasoning.
Seasoning.
Do we season our roux?
Salt and pepper is good.
Okay.
But I mean, I put my mural of flavor in there.
Okay.
I put my mural of flavor.
So
in
we're
there.
going to be putting spices.
Spices. Thank you. Just a little. Now I'm going to use just a touch of sea salt. Just a touch of sea salt because you should have some. You always need salt in your food.
But you said sea salt. Like
sea salt.
What's the difference between what is it that we see? Or is it
Okay, that's a very good question.
Because I think people just choose whatever salt that they see on the shelf, but all salts are not created.
That is correct.
The same.
That is correct. Okay, so this is Mediterranean sea salt, which is good. This is a coarse blend. And it is, salt comes from the ocean. So different parts of the ocean carry different, minerals and stuff in the ocean. So Mediterranean sea salt, it has sodium part isn't too high, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Himalayan pink salt because it has 84 minerals and trace elements, and you can actually see the color. It is pink.
Right.
Okay, this is white. Okay, it's okay.
Okay.
But pink salt, you see the red in it. You see the red flecks. That's the iron.
Okay.
You see all the other minerals in it.
Is that something that you can use every day in every dish?
Every day and every
Okay.
dish. You use it just like you do
use
white salt.
Mediterranean salt every day in every dish?
You can, but I mean, if it were up to me, I would probably use the pink salt.
Okay. So, and let's just say, because the Himalayan salt is going to be more expensive.
Not necessarily. You can buy it. You can buy it in you can get it at Home Goods. You can get it at Ross over in the food department. Big Lots used to have
If they don't have a Home Goods, a Ross, or a Big Lot.
You can go to Winco.
Okay.
Foods
if they're not in California or a state that has Winco.
TJ Maxx, not TJ Maxx, what is that? Marshalls.
Okay.
And in the home goods section where all the foods are at, you're gonna find some Himalayan
it's okay
pink
to
salt.
buy that there. Because I know sometimes there's certain things you don't.
Yes, you can. You can buy that there.
So
it's interesting what you find in those stores once you go looking for them.
What if they're like, well, I already have salt at home and it's not Himalayan salt and it's not Mediterranean salt. The other salt that people usually get, benefits with it or any caution that they should know? Okay, y'all see she's putting some cheese in here.
Yeah, we put cheese.
Sorry, we get to talking.
No, I would white salt is not good for you.
Okay, what happened?
It's not good for you because it's been iodized. Okay, so when we talk about iodized salt, something's been introduced to the salt. Okay. Pink salt is natural. All it is just harvested. And it has its own minerals.
Okay.
So when it's iodized, it means it's been cooked. Okay, the salt has been cooked to put the iodine
like that
in
chemical change that you mentioned earlier when we were talking about here. Okay.
Now, when you're eating salt that's been cooked, your body rejects it.
Oh.
Okay, because
it's
not foreign.
Well,
yes.
Yes.
Okay, because your body's rejecting it, and what it's doing is taking the water from your body to fight it. And that's why your doctor will say, well, watch your salt.
Okay.
It's the type of salt that he wants.
Foods and things of that nature
because it has salt.
More of that.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I cannot emphasize so much to eat, start basic. Just, start with your basic foods, start with anything that doesn't have to be cooked.
Okay.
If it doesn't have to be cooked, then you're good. Okay. So we have the cheese.
Okay.
And we're going to put some more cheese in there. And it's in the fridge. Yay! This fridge been holding out. We thought stuff was gone. It was in the fridge. The fridge had it held it captive. So again, this is mac and cheese. We're not scrimping on this. Okay, we're not scrimping. We already have cheese.
Because she already said it's a luxury.
It's a luxury. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is, even though, and this is okay, let me just tell you a little bit about the pasta. Okay. You can use any kind of pasta for, excuse me, not any kind of pasta for mac and cheese. Elbow is good. Your shells are good. But this is an interesting pasta, and it's called cavatappi.
Yeah.
And it's a spiral. And the reason why I like cavatappi so much, one, because of its fun shape, but secondly, because it has ridges on the outside of the noodle. So it really picks up the sauce.
Okay.
It picks up the sauce of the mac and cheese. So it's really a good, really a good pasta to use. I love it. I love it. I had someone make it for mac and cheese with cavatappi for Thanksgiving. I was like, I'm gonna use cavatappi from now on. Okay.
Okay.
It's just a real fun, pasta. And if we were to start talk about pasta, I mean that's just a whole nother, it's a whole nother story.
So you're
okay?
whisking in cheese.
We're whisking in cheese. Uh-huh.
And so our tea that's been there right now, the tea is already done.
The tea is already done. We need to strain it.
Okay.
We need to strain it. So we're just gonna make some after we pour this in and put it in the oven. The chicken should be ready.
Okay.
And then we can strain this, and then we can wait on our mac and cheese to be done. We're gonna be done here.
Yeah, but this means, so do we have a lot of questions? We have some questions, okay? And I mean, do we have anybody who's viewing from outside of Southern California?
We'd love to hear from you.
We have any of our NorCal neighbors? Anybody from the Midwest, the South?
Woo-hoo.
Not really, no.
You sing it.
It's okay. Maybe they'll catch it next week.
Yeah. But this will be This will be
Yes.
recorded. Oh my
Yes.
God.
So this is recorded.
Uh-huh.
So you can tell your friends if they missed it
Excuse me.
that this will be on YouTube for 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
So they can go back, or maybe you want to go back and you want to cook with us next time.
Should be on longer than that, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it's your choice.
Oh, it's my choice. We want it for perpetuity.
Okay. All right. So forever and ever. All right.
Well, because you might want to make the mac and cheese some other time aside from
Well, you might need these recipes for Labor Day.
Exactly. See? You see what I'm saying? So it's always a good time. I mean, recipes are just good anytime.
So you put the sauce over it, then you mix it.
Yes, we're gonna mix it.
So y'all make sure you mix it.
Yeah, because you want
all your noodles to have a little bit of love.
Yeah, there you go. That part.
You shouldn't have dry noodles.
Right.
No.
No, you shouldn't have
your
dry
macaroni
noodles.
should not be in a drought.
That's right.
Nope.
Funny.
No
It's so
drought
funny.
macaroni. And I will talk about you.
Yeah, and then we're gonna put some more cheese on top of this.
Oh Lord.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm really enjoying myself.
I am. This is. I get to talk about food, and we get to eat. We get to eat.
Oh my God!
Y'all don't understand how excited I am right now. I have been looking forward to this for months.
I have too. I have too. Yes. Okay, we're gonna put this down, and we're gonna put the last of this on here. This roux came out pretty good. Yeah, the roux came out very good. Because it's supposed to be, creamy, and at the same time, we had the cheese in there. Okay, so we are going to take some more cheese. Okay, so what we can do at this time is we're going to move this here because that needs to be strained. You can take that chicken out the oven and put it on top.
Right here?
Yes, please. So, look at that chicken. Okay. And we're going to mix some more cheese up in here just because we can. Okay. Okay.
You
just a
missed the
tad.
corner.
Okay, we'll put some other. Thank you. He's handing us back our stuff. Again, I cannot emphasize the importance of cooking. You know, we're in some interesting times here. Those are the greens. Those are greens. They're just, there you go. There's some green in there right there. There you go. It's just an interesting time where, you know, the world is kind of crazy with everything that's going on right now. And where everyone's looking for, a place
An
that where it can
outlet.
just be
Right.
cool. And some of those outlets aren't all that great. But cooking is wonderful. Cooking, you'll definitely get a result. You'll have happy people. You'll be full, you know.
And depending on where you're at, like some of these dishes, like okay, mac and cheese, anything that you have to use your oven,
yes,
maybe you need to cook it like during the cooler part of the
Yes,
day, just
yes.
so that your house doesn't stay as hot. But like the salads, that gives you a cool, healthy treat that you can have throughout the day.
that part. Okay, so we're gonna put this in the oven now. Yay! Okay, and now we can
No foil?
strain.
Okay.
And we're gonna strain our tea. So we're gonna get us a bowl. Cheryl bought some wonderful bowls. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Yeah.
But our if you notice, our lemon bars set. Once you take them out the oven, the eggs will set. So it gets a little, it firms up after it comes out the oven. So we're gonna have great lemon bars with pieces of strawberries in it. Okay, so you can put that over there. You can put that on the table.
Right here?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're gonna strain the
Okay.
3 cups. 3 cups.
We might be able to find some.
Okay. Well, we're in the library. We might be able to find some.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, and so for the chicken, you seasoned it before you put it in the oven.
Yes, I
For
did.
it to bake.
Yes, I did.
So the main thing that they're going to be creating is the barbecue sauce.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you follow the recipe for the barbecue sauce, you cannot lose. It's really simple.
Should they add a razzle dazzle? No.
You can always add.
No.
You can always add a razzle dazzle.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this because I'm just a real, I go to this place. If you were to go online to Penzies.com, and if you were to just peruse the store, you will find something that you like.
Okay.
Especially if you talk to the salespeople, because everybody's got a favorite.
Right.
Okay. So I showed you my 2 favorites.
And you said that they had like a barbecue mix or something.
Yes, they
like
do.
that.
They have a barbecue mix. Like I said, they have a little bit of everything. They have Asian, they have Hispanic, they have just regular run-of-the-mill stuff. But like I told you about my favorites, the Tuscan Sunset and the Mural of Flavor. If you pass me that over there, this is something that one of the salespeople taught me about, and it's shallot pepper. Okay, and shallot is it's an upscale onion.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a cross between an onion and garlic.
Onion. Okay, so rich auntie.
Okay, it is rich. Okay. But this shallot pepper, believe it or not, when I ran out of this, I started shaking this and it was just as good. Okay. But this does contain salt, pepper, purple shallots. Purple shallots are very, they're
melanated shallot.
Okay.
Okay.
French tarragon and powdered bay leaves.
So we. Okay.
So you really don't, like sometimes when you put a bay leaf in there, you don't need it because you got this.
Okay.
I'm like, this is stuff.
Okay.
Okay. And again, this is, you're going in the store and you're asking the salespeople, well, what's your favorite one? And they have one. Oh my God, it's just wonderful.
Okay, so what you're seeing here, we have an empty bowl,
Yes.
and then We have
Yes.
a mesh
Mesh strainer,
strainer.
and we are going to, thank you so much.
So we're pouring.
This is, oh my God, you smell that hibiscus? Oh gosh.
So you see like what's left in the pan, but then what's in the strainer as well. And you see all the liquid. So all of that got cooked down into this.
Okay, and so we're gonna put this here. You can put that in it, please. It will still make sure that's on the bottom, right? Yay. Okay.
So rich color. And you remember what
Yes.
she said earlier? Like, hey, so this should be super healthy.
It should be super healthy because you've got the hibiscus, the ginger, clove, you've got cinnamon,
lemon,
anise,
right?
orange, all of that. So the recipe calls for cane, for a syrup, but sometimes you can't always do that. But again, our melanated sugar works just as well. Okay, you just have to stir a little bit, and it has to dissolve.
So how much are we
So
putting
this
in?
is, it's asked for the it asks for about, I'm gonna put up, what does it say? A half a cup, a quarter cup. That's gonna be money. Okay, so we're gonna stir that up.
Okay, do we have?
I do cleanup now. Yeah, oh, this is good. Perfect, right?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so we have our slotted spoon.
And you can hear it, like the grit of the sugar. So you
Yes.
want to keep stirring.
Right, you want to keep stirring until it
because
dissolves.
you don't want anyone drinking like, what is that? You don't want
That's
that.
good sugar now. Come
Yeah.
on now. It's good sugar. Okay. It's very good sugar. And what you could do is you could put the rest of the chicken in the oven.
Okay. On the bottom rack?
No, yeah, on the bottom rack. But what you could do before that is put some barbecue sauce on it. The barbecue sauce is right there in the jar.
Got it.
Yes, ma'am. We're teaching Cheryl to cook, okay, so she can be.
I know how to cook.
Okay, all right.
Just not as well as you.
That's okay. It's okay. Mind you, cooking was not my first love. It was clothes. It was a lot of things before it was cooking. But because it was in my bloodline, I decided after all the careers that I had been through in people, I said, well, let me try culinary. And I find that it's the most rewarding, mainly because, you know, there's an end product, there's food. Okay, so we need a cup so we can try this. We have our ice. Ice, woo, woo. Yay. Woo, woo. Okay.
That's
Okay. That's just extra watermelon. Okay. Cheryl's going to be our taster. And tell us if it needs. Look at that red. Oh my God, it's so nice and rich. Do you need more sugar?
Have like just the right about bit of tart.
Really? Okay.
Oh.
Wow. That's a great recipe. If you have this recipe, follow it to the T, and then you just play with your sugar.
Yep.
But it's a really good, the hibiscus, the amount of hibiscus and orange and clove and ginger.
And then, like, say you want this, but you don't do it with the ice. You could have this like later in cooler months,
right?
Like just a hibiscus tea.
Yes. Yes, you can. And hibiscus, you got to remember, it's the red, it's the lycopene, it's antioxidant.
So we're
it's
healthy.
very rich. Everything everything we've eaten here is pretty, very colorful and very rich. So, even though we are celebrating Juneteenth and all the red, we're definitely getting
But our foods are healthy.
yes, our
Like
foods are healthy.
we've been told over the years that what we eat isn't healthy.
That's not true.
And that's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have any questions? Do we have anybody's asking any questions? Okay.
Yay. This tea is very good.
Okay. Can you use any types of fruits for custard bars? Does it
Oh,
have
for the lemon bar, you can use any type of fruit that you want. Last week I did lemon and strawberries and blackberries.
that was a good one.
Kiwi is nice.
Okay.
Any type of fruit.
And does it have to be a shortbread for the crust as well?
That's a good question. I don't know what other type of crust you could use. You might could use
Graham cracker?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
graham cracker. That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. Uh-huh.
Do any fruits or vegetable go with any herbs, or are there certain types that would make for tastier salads than others?
A caprese salad is real simple. If it's color. So you have something red, usually a tomato.
Okay.
But then again, you can make a watermelon caprese salad.
Okay.
So caprese salad is three things. It is a red, basil, and mozzarella cheese.
Okay.
So we understand basil is for your caprese.
Okay.
Okay. So,
So by putting mint in that,
Uh-huh.
it made it what type of salad? Just an herb salad?
It's an herb salad.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is it okay to cool the dessert in the fridge or freezer, or do you cool it on the counter first?
You cool it on the counter first, and then you can cut them up and freeze them. They
Okay.
freeze well. Mhm.
Do you rinse the canned peas or keep the canned sauce?
That was a very good question. What we had Glory, black-eyed peas, and you really don't want to rinse them because
Right.
that has the seasoning in it.
But other brands,
The
you
other
do.
brands, you probably
Yeah,
you
because
would.
I rinse
You
those about
would.
3 or
Yeah,
4 times.
because it's most canned goods are salt is a preservative. So you're rinsing the salt from the bean when you're doing that.
Okay, this person, they said, I'm in Cali, but I'm originally from Trinidad.
Okay.
Seeing a lot of similarities.
Okay, great. That's great. We were dispersed all over the diaspora, so our cooking styles are similar.
Okay. So someone said, talk about the significance of the red for Juneteenth and the history, which
Okay.
we did.
Great.
We talked about,
Yeah.
red is for our ancestors. That's
Yes,
how
it
we
is.
remember, their blood, sweat,
Just
and
like the
tears.
blood, just
and,
like the
and,
red, green, and black.
and what they put into this and
Mhm.
what we really reaped from it, but everyone reaped from what they put in,
Come on now.
everyone reaped
Come
from
on
that.
now. Yes, we did.
We have a question. Where are the recipes? Okay, so they were put in the chat earlier, but they will also be sent out tomorrow. Does making your meals or dishes balanced with everything you need nutritionally better ensure they will taste more flavorful?
Well, it's interesting because, we ate well from the beginning.
Okay.
We did, because we had the greens, we had the black-eyed peas, we ate chicken, even though we ate chitlins, maybe we got a little bit more to pork or something, but we ate well,
Okay.
and again, we were the ones that was picking them, so we could pick a little bit and put it on the side, if master didn't, that's in
Okay.
mind so much. But I would agree that a balanced meal is a lot better for you. And I'm saying, as long as, again, I'm going to say, if you can get your greens in every day, if you get a salad, if you get some greens, some spinach, some kale, I like to make a nice herb paste. And that's like, with your basil, cilantro, mint, and parsley, and put it in a blender with olive oil and garlic. So it's almost like a chimichurri. And I like to eat it with crackers, or just, you can put it on chicken, you can put it on meat. It's just a wonderful thing. It is an herb paste.
Okay.
But if you think about all those herbs in there, you've got your cilantro, which is going to clean out your heavy metals, your basil, which is just good for you, period. I could Google it right now, but you're eating micronutrients because they're herbs. So you can't lose.
Right.
You just can't lose with that, and that's why I really try every chance I get when I'm making something, I'm introducing a fresh herb or I'm introducing something green. So so we're balancing it out. We're balancing it out.
All right.
Yes. Okay. So okay, we're waiting for the mac and cheese.
Yes, we
We're waiting
are.
for the mac and cheese.
Did you take? Yeah.
It's nice. It really doesn't need any sweet.
Exactly.
It doesn't need any sweet.
And it's
good.
refreshing.
It is. It's very refreshing.
See? We did good.
All right.
The
There you
Cheryl
go.
strike again.
It's very good. Maybe you can give him some.
Would you like some tea? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Where's our audience? Where's our captive audience? The outside?
Well, they're around the corner, around the way. But
There you
we'll
go.
make sure we share with
Oh yeah, well, okay. And I thought that we were going to have the time to cook everything.
Yeah,
You did everything.
I was
Let's
worried.
get our greens. I was a little concerned too. Okay.
Okay.
So here we have our greens. Here we have our collard greens. And okay. And here, put this in the freezer.
Okay.
And we'll get another bowl. One thing I can say about this library, it really has lots of amenities in it. I like amenities.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most libraries
Have
a lot of amenities
Mm-hmm.
in addition to books.
Yes.
You know,
in addition to books.
we have a lot of resources
Mhm.
that are great for the community.
Yes, they are.
You know,
Especially
I know,
the
right?
Black Resource Center.
Right, the Black Resource Center, we do. Like, if you would like to research, or maybe you just have a question about history, we pretty much have it covered for you. We have books, we have databases, we have newspapers, microfilm, microfiche, that you can, make an appointment for certain parts, but we're there to help you. As is the case with all of our resource centers and our libraries. You can use our digital library, or you can come in person, but our doors are always open. One thing that we do say, curiosity is welcome.
Yes.
That is our phrase. We want you to ask questions, because learning is a lifetime experience.
Yes, it is. And
All
one of the things I've noticed from the library is that it's a nice place to visit it, especially in the summer, because it's cool, and there's so much to do there. And, it's not, I don't know, maybe I have a new outlook on the library now. I guess maybe because okay. And just seeing all the resources there. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I had brought Cheryl some books, that were just amazing. They were like, what was the Ebony Encyclopedia of Negro Life, that someone had given me years ago. And I said, well, let me donate them to the library. And I also had something, what was it? So like a spiritual, it was a volume of books.
Right.
That I was just so happy to donate to the library so somebody else could do it. But someone had brought some books. And remember all those Egypt books?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Tons of books. And that's one thing that we tell folks, if people donate, sometimes we can add it to the collection. Sometimes we're unable to add it to the collection, but I don't know if y'all remember at the beginning how I thanked our friends of the library.
Yes.
And our friends of the library, one thing that they do, they resell books, and that helps to fund programs like this one, so that we can continue to educate the community and to put forth programming.
Mm-hmm. Very, very important, because a learned, what do you call
populace,
populace, is better, like I say, they're more informed, they make better decisions, And, especially if you have a library in your area, utilize it. I mean, just the meeting spaces and
Right.
just the internet. I didn't know you can make copies for free.
Right. But I mean, when you think about it, historically, we weren't always able to go to libraries.
That's very true. Oh my God.
You know,
Yes.
we weren't
Yes.
always
Oh
able
my
to go to
gosh.
libraries, and
Yes.
it was illegal
Yeah,
for
it
us to
was.
learn to read and to write.
Yes.
And I think sometimes people forget that.
Yeah.
You know,
They do. They
and
do.
we kind of take that for granted.
My goodness.
So we hope that not only were you entertained, but you learned something and you have some key takeaways for not only your gathering this Thursday for Juneteenth, but for gatherings to come and for your health overall, because every dish that we've made today is something that you don't just have to serve one time a year.
That's right.
These are dishes that you can eat all 52 weeks, 365, and, infuse them into, your day to day and make it part of your ritual, your eating culture. And you can introduce it to your friends.
Definitely.
And to your children.
Collard greens should be attractive. They should be attractive. Greens should be attractive.
Should we put that on a shirt? We should put that on a shirt.
Collard greens
should be attractive.
I said, if I ever get married, again, I want a collard green bouquet. I don't want no, I just
now Cheryl.
Hey,
what?
Just some they're so beautiful. They're beautiful.
It's your day. I'm just gonna celebrate you.
But they're so beautiful. They're just as beautiful as any other plant. Wait, before we were eating kale, it was in the florist section.
True. A couple of years ago. Yeah. A couple of years ago. Now it's a hot topic. Yeah.
Isn't that a plant? Did we get that in with an FTD or something?
Yeah.
Let's check on this mac and cheese. Because our chicken is good. Our mac and cheese. Oh my God. Give it a couple more minutes. Because I love my spiral noodle because it just doesn't come out. It's not a flat mac and cheese.
It gives it depth.
It gives it depth.
Yeah. But you know what? One thing that we can say, and you've probably heard your physician say this before, that your plate should be colorful.
Yes.
And you think about it, your plate today is very colorful. You have greens, reds, oranges, and you have varying levels of red that you're ingesting. We're making sure that you have fiber. Every part of that food pyramid has been hit today. And for the most part, this isn't too expensive of a meal.
No, it was not. It was not at all. I'm really, I'm in the store at least 2 to 3 times a week. And it just hurts when I go into some of these stores in the neighborhood, how high they are. It just really hurts me because I understand that we have to eat. And I understand that your food dollars should go far, but it's just not going far in those stores. So
you have any tips?
Well, I mean, we're in Los Angeles County. We're in Willowbrook, we're in Lawndale. We're in the South Bay. I tend to like Winco Foods, and I'm not saying anything against any other store, but your food dollar will go farther
because you're able to buy in bulk.
Because you're able to buy in bulk. Right. If you notice these little green bags around here, we've been buying bulk. This is sugar, flour, cloves, everything that we got here. If you see it in a green bag, we got from Winco, and you can measure out as much or as little as you need. Okay, so I use cloves for the hibiscus tea. It said 1 clove, so I got 4. Okay, and it was like what 0.01 ounce.
Okay,
what was it, 20 cents or less? You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to, and I went looking for cloves, but I went back over to the bulk food section and found them. But in the middle aisle, in the spice section, it was $7. And I said, no, not for, I just need a couple of cloves. So let me go back out. And I went back and perused the bulk food section. You don't have to, when you go to the store, you're going to have to spend some time there. I do find when people go, it is open 24 hours. So you can go at 12 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock in the morning. Either way, there's going to be somebody there smiling, ready to help you. Okay. And what I can tell you is that if you read your labels, it gives you time to read your labels, but it also gives you time to kind of compare shop. Because, you know, if you're going in the stores, if you're going into those stores that are in the neighborhood, I'm not going to name them.
We're kind of creatures of habit.
Yeah, we are.
And
Yeah.
because we're used to buying something that's easy, but sometimes we end up spending more.
Yes,
Because like
we
what
do.
you're saying is going back and buying in bulk for something. And when we say in bulk, you don't have to buy a lot.
No,
It could be a
it's
little.
not Costco.
It could be a little.
This is a little bit of sugar. And let me see, what do we have here? I mean, just the ginger that we have. What is this? This is powdered sugar. So we're gonna dust the lemon bars with it. And so, you know, you could buy the pound bag in the aisle, but if you just needed a quarter cup,
And
I
especially
get
if,
it.
okay,
Yeah.
let's be real here. How many of us are using powdered sugar a
You're
lot?
not. You're not.
You know,
You're
and
not.
these things,
Uh-huh.
you don't want them just to sit on the shelf because they get hard, they go bad,
Mhm.
and then your money isn't going as
Right.
far as it needs
So only
to.
get as much as you need. Only get as much as you need. It's okay to get, you know, just to get a little bit.
So do we think that this is cool enough for us to go ahead and cut?
I think so. I think so. We want to wash that because we can put the powdered sugar on. I am amazed. Okay, audience, I am amazed that we got done in the time we did. Oh my gosh.
And
I
we
was
answered
like
the
stressing.
question. Oh,
I was stressing. Okay, we're going to look at the mac and cheese. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. Look at our mac and cheese. Yay. Okay, so our mac and cheese, I'm going to move the greens out the way. We're going to move something out the way. So I talked about the spiral noodle. So this is our mac and cheese. A little, it's fun with the colorful noodle, with the curly noodle. So we are going to, Cheryl, I'm gonna let you try the mac and cheese.
okay.
Okay. Nice and cheesy. 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 Did we say cheesy? Cheesy. I'm gonna let you try that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna clean up a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Moment of truth. Oh, we didn't spare anything with this cheese.
No, we didn't spare nothing.
And there's butter.
Uh-oh, you taste the butter. Okay, see, we used that Irish butter.
This is
So
good.
it got you with the butter.
This is good. Yeah,
We got you with the butter.
y'all.
Yeah. And so, you know,
So for your
again,
next potluck, here you go.
again, that butter really makes a difference. It is expensive. It is expensive, but it's definitely a game changer as far as your as far as your butter foods that contain butter. It's just really a game changer. It really is.
Now I know that we said it's a luxury, and I know that
Yes, it is.
we stayed. We talked about salt for a little bit.
Yes, we did.
Now, for those who may be health conscious in regards to butter, what could they do? Are there butter substitutes?
No. There is no substitute for butter. There's no substitute for good butter. No. I mean, you know, we have the regular stuff over there, but we use Gary butter. You know, and believe it or not, there's better butter than that. There's better butter than that. I mean, and now we can really talk to these people in the dairy you know, in the dairy country that, you know, they're making their own butter.
Right.
And their cows are grass fed.
Yep.
So, you know,
I've had some of that butter.
Yeah, you've had some of that butter. So, you know, it's definitely, you know, even though You can taste, kind of like taste the richness of it in there.
Y'all,
You
I,
can taste the
I
richness
can't
of
even,
it.
this, if you've ever played Monopoly, you pass go, you collected $2 million just with a fork full of that. It was, yeah, right on time. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
So now we're gonna take our lemon bars and we're gonna dust them with powdered sugar. And yes, they are. It's done now because you can tell how the see how the strawberries have started to separate.
separate.
Yes, it's done.
So we have a snowstorm on top of our dessert.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Powdered sugar. Mm-hmm. And this is a finishing. You know, you should finish something. The other day, the strawberry bars I gave you the other day, they were a little naked. They didn't have any strawberries. They
They're
didn't
still
have
good.
any powdered sugar, but it
They're
was
still-
okay.
They're still good.
Yeah, it was okay.
So
Okay.
does someone have to do this though?
What, have to put powdered sugar on?
Do they have to?
No.
Okay.
You know, as a matter of fact, it's a finishing. It's almost like a garnish. Okay, so one time I did some lemon bars and I couldn't find my powdered sugar, but I had vanilla frosting. You know what I'm saying? So it was just
You heard how she
Yeah.
said she likes to kick it up a notch.
so we
She
put
took it all the
vanilla
way up.
frosting on it.
Okay.
Only because I really wanted to finish it. I didn't want them to be naked,
Right.
you know? Well, we are done.
So my friend just texted me. She
Yeah.
said, "Not me about to buy some Irish butter." We got you. We got you.
Yes. Irish butter is very good. Again, it's a little on the expensive side, but you know, you definitely taste the difference.
So maybe when
Definitely
you do like
taste the difference.
Friendsgiving, y'all can
Yes.
go in together and
Yes.
buy some Irish butter
Yeah.
and create
Mhm.
some of these dishes together.
Mhm.
So it doesn't all fall on one person.
Exactly.
Okay, do we want to plate it just so we can kind of see what it looks
yes,
like?
Yes, let's plate it. Okay. Ooh.
All right. So what do we want to start with first?
Let's get a piece of chicken.
Okay.
And let me see. So just that and the thigh, a wing of thigh.
Okay.
Okay. And you got your greens over here. Joey!
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Don't judge.
Don't judge. Don't judge.
Okay. So we got some green.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't like your food touching, this is not the plate for you. This definitely is not the plate.
No, because we touch our food.
Yeah. And we're going to do a little bit of each salad so you can see it.
There you go. Man,
So now,
that's a good looking plate. Look at that.
so you can see, we have a barbecue chicken, mac and cheese, greens. We have our black eyed pea salad and our watermelon and strawberry salad. Okay, so that's a good looking plate.
And we have hibiscus tea.
And we have
And we have
hibiscus tea,
hibiscus tea.
and we have our bars.
Yes, we do.
So-
We have our lemon bars.
I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in this evening for this program. Thank you, Chef Cheryl.
Thank you.
This
Thank you for
has
having
been
me.
fabulous. So now you have your Juneteenth menu.
Yes, you do.
You know that we eat red foods, we wear red because we're honoring our ancestors and the sacrifice that they gave. And just remember Juneteenth, remember the Emancipation Proclamation and what it did, but we freed ourselves. Okay? Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Bye.